Good morning. All right, so I know I'm late. I don't have an excuse. It was Wake Up Wednesday. It was just like I was working and working people out. So I had things to do, and there's always excuses, aren't there? But excuses are like armpits. They all smell, and we all have one, right? So today, I want to talk a little bit. I was thinking about, we have friends that are in the car business, and they were telling me how well they're actually doing in the industry right now. And I said, man, that's really neat that they're doing so good. In spite of all the things they're going, they truly have employed some of these methods that we talk about of being challenged and coming through it. Good morning, Timmy Kostadakis. How you doing today? So, I thought about that. I thought of my early days in sales in the fitness industry. And I was never really a great salesman in the fitness industry, just basically because I really always wanted to help people. And, I really wasn't concerned about the money part of it. But I remember that I was taught by an old, wise sales guy in the health industry. What he would do is he would have people come in and he would hand them like a 15-pound dumbbell. He'd say, hey, hold this for me. And they'd walk around their club tour. And then he would say, oh, man, I forgot that you were holding that dumbbell. Here, let me take that back from you. And he said, how did it feel to get that load off you? He said, oh, yeah, that was great. Oh, man, I could feel the difference. Well, that's how it is if you want to lose 10 or 15 pounds. It was like a really cool ploy. Hey, Pete, how you doing this morning? My old wrestling guy, Pete Ulick down there up in North Carolina, I believe. So I want to talk about that a little bit, Dave. I want to talk about, I've talked a lot about the burdens and getting burdens off us because there's a lot of junk we've got to get out of the way before we can go to the next level. And we've talked, my focus has been to talk to you about creating a creative statement, this new place that you want to be, your future memory, and we've talked about creative tension. So I want to talk about that a little bit today, and I want to give you some examples and hopefully motivate you to, if the procrastination monster, if the distraction monster, if the negative talk monster are getting after you, then I want you to be able to say, I have a reason to go through. We've talked about getting your why in that. So let's think about this. You go in to buy a car and you make a down payment, right? And that down payment, basically what that does is it sort of starts the transaction. It says, hey, listen, I'm ready to seal this deal, okay? So then you sign a finance contract, which makes an obligation that you're going to pay for it and you're going to get what you're going to get, right? And then that also ties you now to sample the car. Because you drive off and if you often say, oh man, this car is horrible, I don't want this car. Then you say, well, you know what, I've got to come back and give it back, right? So here's the situation. The 55 days to your best life is exactly mirroring this. You made a deposit when you created the interest to sign up on the Facebook page. You showed the interest. You gave us the opportunity. Now, your down payment has been those small increments of things that you've done thus far to be successful. Now, what we need to do now is we need to take it out and we need to go further than the test drive. We need to start implementing other components of the program that maybe you haven't looked. You may have gotten on here because you had a favorite person you like to watch. You like to watch Ariel or Jim or something like that because they resonated with you somehow. So what we want you to do now is this week there's changes in our eating program. Let's look at those changes. Let's start to burn that fat. Remember, the circadian eating is going to go through 3 stages. It's going to go through, let's balance the insulin response. It's going to go through, let's get the fat deposits burned off and out of there, right? And then we're going to go through balancing the hormones. That's all in our webinars that are coming up. So you have something to look for on Monday nights. Listen to those webinars. Go back and re-listen. Listen, I've been through this several times with Phil, and I keep always going back. When I have people in the program, I always go back and I listen again. I always walk away with something new because he's always sort of changing a tweak. So there's no fine print in this deal. There's no cancellation policy. There's no return policy on it. It didn't cost you anything except your effort, and hopefully you have started to see some effort that has gone for you. I think of it like this. I want you to take the example of a dump truck. This process of creating a future memory is going to take you out of that circle of discontent. That circle of discontent that we want to get out of, you should be very vivid in writing that. You should be vivid because you want to stir those emotions of how much you hate being where you're at and saying, I'm frustrated, I'm sick, I'm tired, I'm sick of being sick and tired, right? So now when you start to create your why, you start to create your circle of discontent, and now you create that future vision. There's going to be a dumping of burdens. There's going to be getting these old health habits off of you. There's going to be getting the things that have held you down. Maybe, like me, you had a fear of technology. Well, I think I'm getting rid of that fear of technology slowly but surely. I'm trying new things in what I do. I just bought a pod where I have little things I click and I can turn this on. I just got in the mail from Amazon, and that's gonna be the next thing I use. And then I got a little speaker that I'm gonna put on my thing so my sound comes through better, so I can go from afar with it. So what I want you to think about in this process of creating your circle of discontent and your future memory is, think of a dump truck, right? A dump truck, if we just filled it up one time and took it and just laid it on the side, wouldn't be any good. Well, many of you that are sitting at home, you're that dump truck. You got all the trash of your old lifestyle habits, you got all your worries, you got all your anxiety, and you've dumped them into that dump truck. And you've just parked the dump truck somewhere. Right now, it might be in your house. But what makes a dump truck functional? Well, the driver of it pushes a button, pulls a lever, boom, the load goes out in a designated spot and the dump truck is ready to go. That's what I want you to do. I want you to dump into that circle of discontent. I want you to dump into that, and I want you to create that new future. And the stronger and the more vivid you make that new future, that future memory, then what's going to happen is you are going to feel better, greater, and you're going to be pulled to those positive lifestyle habits. We're not meant to be crushed under the weight of things like bad habits or burdens or anxiety. We're not built like that. I want to go back to the example I did of the guy in the health club. Think about this. How productive would it be for you to take a suitcase and fill it with a bunch of useless stuff and drag it around all day long? It would wear you out. It would be frustrating. Be no positive things to that, right? All you would be doing was expending energy that wasn't worth expending, right? Well, that's what we're doing when we don't get that circle of discontent and begin to work from the standpoint of being more successful. So we're not meant to be crushed under this weight of burden. Push that spiritual button of faith, pull that lever of trust, and get rid of those burdens by doing the activities. As I told you yesterday, this program is not just a scientific-based program. There's physiology, there's psychology, there's theology in this program. That's why we want that spiritual connection. That's why we want to connect with whatever your spiritual energy comes from. For some of you, it's crystals, like Ariel does a great job of doing and talking about the chakras. For some people, it's crystals. For some people, it's Judaism. For some people, it's Christianity. For some people, it's Hinduism. Okay? We're not going to put our prejudice on you, but we are going to put our wisdom towards you. So the last thing I want to say is Zig Ziglar, who, and I wrote this down, Zig Ziglar, who Tony quoted, I think, last week, has a statement. He says, "You are who you are and what you are because of what has gone into your mind. You can change who you are and what you are by changing what you put into your mind." This program is the things that we put in our mind, the habits, and that will make us successful. I look forward to you being successful, to having a Wednesday that's innovating, energizing, and you learn something today. Take the next step. Be the best you can be. Remember all the great things that we can do in 30 days. And if you don't know that, go to the webinar from last Monday and just fast forward it to the part where Phil says, what can you do in 30 days? God bless you. Have a great day. And I look forward to your success and you being the best that you could possibly be.